Yo, my name's Robert, and I'm a failure. Alright, hey guys, we back. So today we're going to be talking about failures. More importantly, how to deal with failures when they come up, or at least one way that I'm using now to try to deal with a recent failure that I've had in my entrepreneurial life. So the background of it, or the basis of this whole video, is the fact that recently we just came off of a very big weekend in the United States, Black Friday, as we affectionately know it. And with that, I've really had high hopes for this Black Friday for doing stuff for the brand Cre8ive Minds Clothing. I've actually went through and did the flyers. I did videos for it. I made ads on Facebook and everything else, just knowing I was going to make sales this weekend. It didn't turn out that way. I think I've actually made one sale the entire weekend of Black Friday. And it crushed me. It crushed me really bad. It hurt. But yeah, so in that, I was kind of down for the whole situation, but I came across a podcast from Matt D'Avella. And on the podcast, he interviewed a guy by the name of TK Coleman. And it was something that he said during the podcast that really at least helped me with this failure and the disappointment and upsetness that I'm feeling from the failure of it. And the thing that he mentioned was, with failure, you can look at it one or two ways. And I'm paraphrasing here, so if you really want the detail of what he said, you can check out the Ground Up podcast by Matt D'Avella. Once again, the guy's name is TK Coleman that he interviewed. It's a really good podcast. But on it, he said something along the lines of, you can look at failure one or two ways. Either you can look at the failure itself and kind of wallow in that failure, or you can look at the accomplishments and the journey that you went through in getting there. And I know it kind of sounds crazy, like, what do you mean the journey of getting to a failure? But as I mentioned in the story, we had the Black Friday weekend and I didn't make sales. And that was the thing that I was focusing on. I was focusing on the failure itself. But after hearing that, it kind of got me thinking on everything that I actually did up to it, or the journey for the failure. For instance, I actually did make flyers for the Black Friday sale that I was having. I was able to make content from that as well in video format as a tutorial. So those are two things that I wouldn't have got done previously if I had not done it. Not to mention the advertisement that I made for it, which is pretty cool. That's something that I'm trying to get more into, with the advertisement and the voiceover work. I actually learned more about the ad side of Facebook and Instagram and the dimensions for everything else. So that was another thing that I was able to build upon with myself. So in the future, that is something else that I can add to my repertoire of things that I'm doing for the brand. So it's a way of looking at things where it's not necessarily something that you're just wallowing in the failure of it. Oh, I didn't achieve it. But look at the steps that you took through it to actually get to that point. And it's a pretty dope way for me to look at it. It's helpful for me. It actually got me wanting to get out there and do a lot more and be a creative again. And, just get to you guys. This is another thing that came out of the failure itself, because I now have another vlog subject recording to talk about as we're doing today. So that's pretty dope. Another thing that he did mention with failure that can help out a lot is the fact that setting goals that are attainable, kind of like bite-sized goals or chunks that you can actually achieve on your worst day. So the premise of this is, on your worst day of the week, are you going to be able to achieve the goals that you're setting for anything that you're trying to do? So if you have a very busy day for one day of that week and you don't have 3 or 4 hours to get to something, instead of feeling like, oh, I felt that day, and then you kind of get off track, have something in place already, kind of look forward into the future and future-proof the situation, and say, okay, well, instead of me doing something for an hour or 2 hours, or instead of me saying, okay, well, I'm going to make so many sales throughout the week. Just say, okay, well, I'm actually going to get these things in process. I'm actually going to learn how to do the advertisements for Facebook. I'm going to learn how to get the voiceover work done in Premiere, get the editing done and everything else to make it look a lot more polished and professional. And that way, when you look at it in that form, you can achieve those things even on that one day. If it may hinder you, you can actually bounce back, you can rebound, or you can do something as far as just looking up on your phone that day when you're busy and you can't be in front of your computer working on it. And that's a pretty dope way that I never really viewed before with trying to work on things. You know, it always had to be result oriented. Everything had to achieve sales at the end because that's what I was taught as a solopreneur or entrepreneur. You have to make sales or else your business isn't going to work. And that is true. You do want to make sales, but it doesn't define your business. The thing that I got in business for is because I actually want to have something that I can pass along, or something to show that, hey, I've done this. It's something I built with my own two hands for myself. And learning things and building upon that is pretty cool to me. You know, I've learned how to do video. I've learned how to do editing. I've learned how to do voiceover work. I've learned more and more of my graphic design by actually investing in myself and going to school so I can be more proficient at it when I'm doing things for my business. And those are things that's cool for me because it's a sense of accomplishment and achievement in what I originally wanted to do, which was build something for myself by myself. And that's pretty dope, you know? So yeah, I think in the future, hopefully, this can help me a lot more with the failures that may come, because they're going to happen and it's going to suck. But I'll get through it. I'll manage. Yeah. So I'm going to throw a commercial up. We'll get to a break real quick. And then after that, we'll come back with the question of the day. All right? Yo, pop quiz. It's Saturday. You're in your King of the Grind shirt. What do? A, go to the mountains with a friend and tell spoopy ghost stories. B, go to the skate park and do the sickest kickflip of your life. Or C, keep it chill and watch a movie. It's easier. The answer's D. You do it all. So go to Cre8iveclothing.com, pick yourself up a King of the Grind shirt, size 1X through 6X, price $20. So no matter what you do, you dope. Alright, so today's question of the day is building upon what we just spoke about earlier in the video. And that's, with the recent failure that you had, what is a few things that you can pull from it as a positive? For myself, as I mentioned before, I actually learned a lot more on the back end of business and creating things for the business to market and to grow with it. And those are things that I can transfer into other businesses that I may start in the future. Or even in this business now, where I can actually have it in my skill set to market to other people. And I think that's really cool. That's pretty dope. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like or a comment. Let me know. You can email me at robert@cre8iveclothing.com. And also you can find me on YouTube at Robert the Cre8ive. So yeah, man, I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Let me know of the accomplishments that came from your failure. All right, as always, you guys stay dope and be blessed. Yeah.